चैव नरोत्तमं देवी व्यास ततो जयमुदीरयेत् राष्ट्रप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतो सेवया भागवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिके. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, the canto title is here. The chapter is Devavati's Lamentation. Kardama uvacha tustoham adya tava manavi manadayaha susrusaya paramaya paraya cha bhaktya yodehinam ayam ati rusadeha navekhita samita chamadathe uvacha tustoham adya tava manavi manadayaha susrusaya paramaya paraya cha bhaktya yodehinam ayam ati vasudeha navekhita samuchita kapitam adathe. Word by word meaning. Kardama Upacha. The great says Kardama said, Tushtaha, Aham, I am, Adya, today, above, with you, O daughter of Manu, Manadayaha, who are Sustrusaya, by the service, Paramaya, most excellent, Paraya, highest, Cha, and Bhaktya, by the devotion, yeah, that which, Nam, embodied, Yam, this, Ativa, extremely, Sudut, dear, Sah, that, Deha, body, now, not, Avikshitaha, taken care of, Samukitaha, Khupitam, to explain, Mad Arthe, my cow. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Prabhupada. Translation. Kardama Muni said, O respectful daughter of Swayambhu Manu, today I am very pleased with great devotion and most loving service. Since the body is so dear to embodied beings, I am astonished that you have neglected your own body to use it on my behalf. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. It is indicated here that one's body is very dear. Yet Devavati was so faithful to her husband that not only did she serve him with great devotion, service, and respect, but she did not even for her own health. That is called selfless service. It appears that Devavati had no self-pleasure even with her husband. Otherwise, she deteriorated. Acting in Kardama's engagement in spiritual elevation, he continually assisted him, caring for bodily comfort. It is the duty of a faithful and wife to help her in every way. Especially when the husband is engaged in Krishna consciousness. In this case, the husband is also rewarded the wife. Expected by a woman who is serving in an organization. Om Ajnati Jnanam Janasvalakaya Chakshuttamena Sri Gurave Namah Chaitanyam Madhavishtam Kapitamena Bhutale Rupa Kadanyam Datanti Swapadantikam Deham Sri Guru Yutapata Kamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavamsha Rupam Sarjatam Raghunantam Sati Sabhi Savadhutam Parijana Sahitma Chaitanya Devam Sriyada Krishna Sahavata Vishakhantam Hare Krishna Kruva Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagapati Gopikanto Radha Kanta Sute Tapta Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Brahmami Paripe Panchakatva Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvai Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Siva Sadi Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Nirachara Nivasa Nityaya Paramatmane Balavadra Tatham Jagannathaya Hare Krishna dear devotees. Thank you for joining for the morning early Bhagavatam class. This days we are discussing about Kardama and devotee Samvat, and devotees lamentation is the topic. And this subject matter is very beautiful and it's very influential for all the Gurus. And Prabhupada has beautifully described about the devotee's contribution and how selfless service. Knowledge on this beautiful subject matter is limited and Bhagavatam is various, but it's a blessing. I'd like to glorify this beautiful subject matter based on my limited capacity for my own purity. Prabhu, are you able to hear? time I had some difficulty just by.
Your voice is not coming very clear.
Okay, just hold on a minute.
You're on mute, Mataji.
Prabhuji, just wanted to check.
Oh,
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, we are hearing you from a distance.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I is better now, right?
Yeah, that is better.
So in this beautiful topic, we see that Prabhupada is explaining here, Devahudi did not have any personal sense of pleasure. So there are some wonderful things to discuss here. Like Devahudi is serving Kardama Muni, and Kardama Muni is very, very pleased with her service, with her loving service, with her service. Kardama Muni is very, very pleased. So Devahudi serving Kardama Muni, even neglecting her sense. He is not giving any attention to her bodily needs. To speak of sense pleasure, like we always talk about sense pleasure, gratification, how to stay happily, how to stay with bodily comfort. But Devahudi did not pay any attention to the bodily needs. She just cared for her husband lovingly, so much she has completely in like subsequent topics. We'll see how how like Devahudi is weak and how Kadam Muni is care of her. So different point we analyze this, we see that she must got in like anything we do, right? We won't if we don't get any pleasure, because like the soul the need is to seek pleasure. The definition of soul is what Satchidananda we say, right? Like Ananda is one part. So we must here understand that Mother Devhuti must be getting some kind of pleasure to serve Muni. That pleasure basically is loving devotional service. Basically, she is her husband in the devotional service. Like Prabhupada here in the purport, he's saying that is selfless service, and he's saying that it is the duty of a faithful and chaste wife to help her husband in every respect, especially when the husband is engaged in Krishna consciousness. So if the soul receives the happiness of loving service to the Supreme Lord or to his devotees, then
that higher test the devotee is getting or the person is getting, with that basically he can handle surpass any other lower test that a person is getting from sense enjoyment. So condition easily can keep aside the all the pleasures of sense gratification when he gets a higher taste. Like in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explained version of in the chapter 2 about the topic of param dusha nibartate or higher taste. Krishna says, Vishwa nibartante nirahara siddhana rasa varjam rasa api param dusha nibartate. That empowered soul may restrict him sense enjoyment to the taste of subject, but taste of the subject remains. The sense organs will always search for to enjoy. But seizing this such an engagement by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. That means when we get a higher taste, we won't look for all this little bit, like l- low entity of tests. Normally, when we think of sense gratification, we think in body and sense. The pleasure of loving service is always the highest. Why? Because the constitutional property conditioned soul. Our when we are a conditioned soul, our we say that we are eternal servant Lord. How the servant is get happy? Because when he serves Krishna, he becomes very happy. Just like a beggar, like we conditioned souls, we can think of our example just like a beggar. A beggar has a sumptuous shadam. Like a beggar, we mostly survive by getting food particles from outside. He begs, whatever today he got some rice and dal, tomorrow getting something else. Like that, he manages. For him, the definition of enjoyment is very, very limited. So I beggar thinks that one day I will get around 15 varieties of this prasadam. I would get this rasgulla, gulab jamun. Like that, he'll imagine that he has 15. That how is how he will be satisfied. When we this Annakud festival in our temple or this or any kind of nice festivals in our temple, we see that there are 300 400 varieties of Mahaprasadam there. Each prasadam will be opulent and each will be definitely better than the item. And if we do the enjoyment either is material form or is a spiritual platform, they're always different. So in a material platform, we think that we know everything. Yes, that is best enjoyment. So that enjoyment I'm getting, that is I'm very, very happy. But the real enjoyment is the spiritual enjoyment. So in Kali Yuga, basically the standard pleasure is only through the sense enjoyment. Today I'll be crossing through this restaurant and eat this pav bhaji. Tomorrow I to cross going through the other restaurant. I'm going to have some different. Today I will buying this or I will buy that car. So we tend to measure happiness based on the sense enjoyment, but that is very limited. The real enjoyment is loving devotional service to Lord and devotees. See in Bhagavatam classes, Prabhupada always refers about the first Ananda fashion. That means we can enjoy this Ananda when with our Supreme Father Krishna. Anything we try to do, keeping away Krishna, that enjoyment is temporary. It's kind of a flickering the air. But when Krishna is in the center or Krishna's devotees are in the center, and we try to do something for their pleasure, that time this enjoyment is eternal enjoyment. In material world, we that people work very hard. Early morning they will go. The trains are, the bosses are, they work very hard to earn. Why? Because they will buy more enjoyment materials. They will try to enjoy more. They will have a big house. They will have housewarming. They will have big houses. They will have pets. They will have nice cars, like that. This is the sense gratification. This kind of sense gratification basically is not recommended in the big shastras. Sense gratification is not a standalone pleasure at all. Our existence of real pleasure is how we are feeling happiness in the service of Lord. So we see that we talk about often about, like this person is working very hard. that person is working very hard. Why they're working very hard? They want to maximize the sense gratification. Often we get the campaigning, buy one, get one free. Today, we are getting from this store one car, you are getting 20% discount. We run immediately. And tomorrow we see that, this mall is having discount on sales, on dresses. You buy one dress, you get the dress free. Like that, so many campaignings are there. So people are learn to how to acquire more and more taste, more and more sense enjoyment. So they think that that is basically the definition of happiness. More sense enjoyment, more happiness. That is actually basically their understanding. But we see sometimes in our devotee community, we see that some devotee, they will be very happy. They were not running after anything else, will be very happy. Every day or morning, you will be seeing them doing services. There are some Matajis, they will be unconditionally doing deity services every day. Here in the morning or evening, you will be seeing them doing services. Why they are doing it? Because they are getting pleasure out of it. Their perception of enjoy is different. For these people, they're very, very focused. So focused that they do not get distracted by our sense enjoyment. Why? Because in their heart, the love for Krishna has awakened. So that's why they're able to do this selfless service. These services, when we do any kind of work we do, we always think, what am I going to get out of it? That is our selfish motive. We always try to see, am I going to get anything? So our Radhanath Maharaj always says that the real disease is selfishness and the real cure is selfless service. To the degree we cultivate the spirit of selfless service, to that degree we'll actually find peace in our life. So for example, we see in our temple, our dear Jayaprakash Prabhu, every day morning, he will be coming to attend the Mangala Aarti. When we didn't have the temple, once in the meeting, Jayaprakash Prabhu told, if we have a temple in near future, I'll definitely attend all the Mangala Aartis. Till from that day, from 2015 till today, Jayaprakash Prabhu has never missed any Mangala Aarti. So early morning sleep is very dear to all of us. Like we'll be sleeping. And we have seen our Acharyas and Srila Prabhupada, they used to sleep very less. But in this time, staying between us, there is a devotee, one person, who will be getting up early morning at 3 o'clock, taking bath, and he'll be the first person to attend Mangala Aarti. People say that, like at this age, sleep well. If you don't sleep 8 hours or 7 hours, whatever, like Ayurvedic says, we have to sleep well. But our Jayaprakash, he doesn't care about it. Gets up early morning and every day he is there. Not only that, whether it is a Janmashtami, whether it is a Rath Yatra, any festival you see, or Nandotsav, any festival you see, the person behind the stove is our Jayaprakash Prabhu and his entire family. So nowadays we have a beautiful temple and we have a beautiful certified kitchen. But I remember those days. He's not only his family, his entire house was dedicated for our cooking seva. So many times we have a house to cook. So Prabhu and Mataji both seriously, they never thought that my house is having so many puri smell is coming, sweet smell is coming. It's all getting everywhere. It is getting sticky, and little bit here and there we cook at our house. We get like passionate. Yes, I have to clean my stove. But Prabhu and Mataji unconditionally, they have held us. So Prabhu is there. Yes, we know that we are going to have prasadam. Like you see, certain times now due to his due to his age, he is not able to stand sometime after the heavy cooking. But he never complains that yes, I am tired. You ask him, Prabhu, next time what is the plan? He will ask, tell me what do you want to eat. Not only temple, like today my daughter's wedding, tomorrow his daughter's engagement, hers, some other person's son's health issues. He will be always there. He won't, anytime he will think that it is not my family or nothing like that. So that is one type of selfless service we see. Now another selfless service we see and is our Jananda Prabhu. Now the Ratha is coming. I thought of glorifying Jananda Prabhu. Jananda Prabhu joined our ISKCON movement in 1967. So he was the main person behind Ratha Yatra. So people abundantly tell him the Ratha Yatra man or the king of Ratha Yatra. So Jananda Prabhu was basically a multi-talented person. He basically following the footsteps of senior acharyas. he was very, very humble. Any services you do, he will give you the service wholeheartedly. He'll be all happy to do any work. Early morning, daily service, to preaching, to cooking, and then finally preaching outside or driving taxi or the chariot. And finally also cleaning the sewage or cleaning the garbage or cleaning the temple halls. Always you see Jananda Prabhu will be there. So he was so focused in his seva, he used to neglect his health. Towards the last part of his life, he was not keeping good health. He was in the hospital. From the hospital also, he'll be planning how to do Ratha Yatra, how, in what way I should do Ratha Yatra that I will get enough fund. He will be sending his friends to this place, that place to get money. And at the end, he says that this New York Ratha Yatra is very, very close to him. So basically, what happened, Jananda Prabhu, just before 2 days, he was thinking that this will be very good offering to Srila Prabhupada. So he was basically setting up the of chariots, 3 chariots he was setting up. So just one day before of Rath Yatra, like usually Rath Yatra is on Saturday in New York City. One Friday night, Jananda Prabhu was setting up the dome of Balabhadra's chariot. So that happened, a gust wind came and everything, like it's kind of broken. The dome fly away, everything, it kind of shattered all around. Every time we have seen that in Lord Jagannath's festival, something will happen. But at the end, Lord Jagannath will come as a hero, or he will make devotee hero, so that everybody will not, like, at the end he will tell and glorify Lord Jagannath and his devotees. So then Jananda Prabhu, when he came, he saw that Lord Balabhadra's chariot dome is on, and everything is kind of scattered and here and there scattered. So before that, he has constantly worked. He has not taken a little bit rest. The whole day is gone and it's evening time. Jananda Prabhu was so determined. He took 2 devotees' hand. Not only he set up Balabhadra's dome and chariot, he set up the other 2 chariot again by constructing from the new materials, from the tubes, some balls or something he found, wheels he found, and from that he basically again set up the chariot. So we see how determined our Jananda Prabhu was when he was in the hospital, when he was approaching death, sitting on the wheelchair. He will be doing devotional service. He never pay attention to his body. For Vacharyas, his body, soul, both are actually basically recognized. Then we see our Srila Prabhupada, how much hardship he has done. At the age of 69, when people generally retired and stay in America, stay in Vrindavan, or stay in any of the holy dham, Prabhupada decided to come to America on his Guru Maharaj's advice to preach Krishna consciousness to the Western world. When we come any flight, we seek for some of us who have extra money with business class. Some of them go for a better economy, better facilities, so that we have better. We demand so many things. But Prabhupada, he basically had very little money. In fact, no money he had. He had no acquaintance in America. He came at the age of 69 with very limited money, very limited resources, with few books in his hand, in a zip-cut jalda. So at this place, coming in a ship is basically a challenge on his body. He suffered so many seasickness, so many fever, and he had 2 cardiac arrests on the Arabian Sea. So he maybe he might survive. He had tremendous faith on Krishna, on his Guru word. Now, after coming to US also, the life was, he was sharing accommodation with some people. And now when one is slowly getting established, Prabhupada could have named the movement. As per his name, instead, he told International Society of Krishna Consciousness, nothing else, like anything we generally to put my name or our kids, any house or something materialistic people do, they will put their name first. Any rich person will do something, he will do on his name or as a gratitude to his mother or father in their name. Prabhupada dedicated everything for the Supreme Father, International Society of Krishna Consciousness. And Prabhupada was so focused for the foot acharyas. Prabhupada used to sleep very less. Always Prabhupada says that there are four things: eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Everything are basically need of our organs. If you eat less, you will sleep less. So then, if you sleep less, you will be more. There should be a balance also. So Prabhupada, we have seen in books, Prabhupada diary, that Prabhupada used to sleep only 3 hours. At night, he will be getting up and he will be compiling this beautiful Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita. Entire Srimad Bhagavatam, I think he has compiled by during this night time. And so books he has written, so many treasures he has kept for us. What Prabhupada getting out of it? Everything he has kept for us. All these treasures Prabhupada has kept for us. So when we go to any ISKCON temple, we see so many books are there. And now Prabhupada's books have been translated in so many different languages. Our Bhagavad Gita is getting translated in so many languages. So many devotees are getting benefited. How it is possible? It's only because of Prabhupada's selfless service and his hardship. He's done all the hardship and selfless service for getting Krishna consciousness. For the sake of his Guru Maharaj advice that you go and preach Krishna consciousness in the Western world. They need more help. So Prabhupada came here. Now talking about selfless service, we see in our movement also, there are so many are there, so many Matajis are there. Today I was hearing about Ladini Mataji. Ladini Mataji was staying in New Vrindavan. So focused and so dedicated, dedicatedly she was serving Radha Krishna and very fond of Janat Baldev Subhadra deities, especially to our Balramji and Nityananda Prabhu. So as per Nityananda Prabhu's advice, he went to South Africa. There basically she was a very good preacher. She dedicated her life and for saving few devotees' life. So that we see those devotees selfless. They are selfless because they are getting real pleasure. They are getting pleasure. If we get material pleasure is temporary. Sometimes see there will be few devotees will be there. Some devotee will be very happy in doing devotional service, and the other devotee won't be happy in devotional service. Be thinking, yesterday I did this service. Yesterday I was doing this, and today I was doing the same service. But in service we do, if we do not have pleasure, try to look for the pleasure outside. In case of Srila Prabhupada, in case of the Devahoti, they are whatever service they are doing, they're getting pleasure out of it. That immense pleasure basically is so significant that they are not paying attention to this real insignificant pleasure which is from the sense objects. So we see from the Devahuti example here how to serve with pleasure, with happiness, so that all this flickering outside won't affect us and won't bother us. And we will stay firm and we will do and more seva. While doing this seva, austerity is needed. It is not like that austerity too. We are not getting bodily pain, we are not getting any kind of comfort. With austerity, discomfort and bodily pain will be there. But when love is here, this basically becomes the pain of joy, or it becomes a bundle of joy of love, because Krishna is in the center. And that basically surpasses all the material pains which we are getting in the body. So with this, I will end today's discussion. So Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Hari Bol.
Thank you, Mataji. We'd like to wish you all a safe and Krishna conscious day ahead. We'd like to offer our prayers to the Supreme Lord by chanting Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare.
Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Hare Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare.
Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Rama Rama,
Rama,
Hare Hare. Shino
Jai
Shingo, Jai
Nrsinga, Jai
Shingo,
Nrsinga,
Jai
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 Shingo,
Nrsinga,
Jaladesha, Jaya
Radesha
Padma
Jai
Mukha
Padma
Padma
Mukha Padma
Lingam.
Lingam. उग्रवीरं महाविष्णुजलन्तं सर्वतों
नरसिंहं
नमामि।
नरसिंह भगवान की
की
जय,
जय।
महाराज की
जय।
जय।
Yes, offer our humble obeisances to all the Samar Vaishnavas,
वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च
वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च
पतितानां
पतितानां
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः।
नमो नमः।
वैष्णविंद की जय,
जय।
संतराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की
जय।
जय।
शिला प्रभुपाद की
जय।
गौर प्रेमानंदे।
हरि 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 बोल।
Thank you, Prince.
Thank you everybody.
Thank you.
हरि बोल।
Hare
हरे
Krishna.
कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.